Every month in My Singing Monsters, we get new monsters in the game, whether they are new variants like rare and epic monsters, or even brand new monsters that we've never seen before. And of course, at some point, some of these monsters will arrive in the game with a bug, or in a way they weren't supposed to. In today's video, we're going to look at monsters that were released with bugs in My Singing Monsters. That's right, we'll see all those that when they arrived in the game, came in a different form or with a bug that is no longer present today. Well, the first monster we're going to talk about in this video is one that arrived in the game with a different design than its real one, G'day. That's right folks, G'day is a monster from the Magical Sanctum that was released with some missing details in its design, making it a simpler and less detailed version of the monster. At the time of its release, players quickly noticed some differences between its in-game design and its promotional images. So yes, G'day was released with a small bug in My Singing Monsters, but after a few hours, its true design was already in the game. Now, a monster that itself didn't have any bugs, but its egg did, was the epic Wub from the Cold Island. Yes guys, for those who weren't playing at the time, when this epic Wubbox was released, if you bought it from the store and placed it in your structures, its egg would turn completely red. In fact, it appeared as a red square where the egg should have been. Yes, it was a simple bug, but it was still a monster that launched with a visual glitch. Even though it was minor, it was quite funny to see this error in the game at the time. Now, talking about a prismatic monster that arrived with a small design mistake, though a very minor one, it was the Prismatic Yelmut. A part of its body appeared grey instead of its intended color. It was a small detail, but some players noticed the flaw right away. Fortunately, this bug was later fixed. Another prismatic monster that truly arrived completely bugged in the game was the Prismatic Barb. This prismatic version of Barb had a couple of strange bugs. The first bug was that its yellow version couldn't be obtained through the Prism Gate. That's right, the yellow version simply wasn't available no matter how many times you tried. Of course, this issue was fixed after its release. The second bug was with its orange version, where its animation during sound playback would glitch out, appearing full of errors and visual distortions. This issue was also fixed alongside the correction of its yellow form. Now, a monster that already existed in My Singing Monsters but had a strange bug when it was released in the Colosseum was Schmoochle. Yes guys, Schmoochle had a unique glitch in the Colosseum that was unlike any other in this video. It was the 0 coins bug. When it launched, you could buy it for 0 coins, meaning it was practically free. Naturally, many players took advantage and bought multiple Schmoochel's. This is definitely the most unusual bug in this video, since it involved the purchase price of a monster, which remains one of the rarest types of bugs in the game. Amber Island is certainly one of the most beloved islands in the game, featuring many monsters and being an iconic location in My Singing Monsters. However, some monsters arrived there with bugs. The first one was Flugel, which had one of the funniest bugs in the entire game. It was a sound bug that made this monster's audio extremely loud and completely out of sync. The volume was so high that it could actually hurt the ears of players who had their sound turned up. So if you're playing with headphones, I recommend lowering the volume. As you heard, the sound was incredibly loud, and this issue lasted for several days before it was finally fixed. However, Amber Island had another monster with a bug, Glol. This monster had a completely different issue, also related to sound. In Glol's case, it would perform its sound animation, but no sound would actually play. It was completely silent. And when its sound finally did play, it was out of sync with the song, making the music feel really chaotic. Fortunately, this was also fixed, and there haven't been any major bugs on this island since. Now let's talk about a monster that was recently added to the game, and one of its versions had a bug. Yes, one of its versions, since it has two. It's Harionette. That's right, folks. The smaller version of Harionette arrived in the game with a design issue that caused it to have a purple section on its back, resembling the arms of its larger form. This was quickly corrected and its design is now accurate in the game. However, I have to admit, I didn't even notice this issue at first. It was only later when the community started commenting on the change that I realized it. Finally, one of the monsters that had a design mistake when it was added to the game, but with a very minor difference, was Hollowo. Yes guys, Hollowo was also added with a small design flaw. Instead of having fruits on top of its head, it had leaves. This was adjusted shortly after, but technically Hollowo is yet another monster that was released with a minor design defect. Guys, these were the monsters that arrived in the game with bugs. I hope you enjoyed this video. If I forgot any monsters, leave a comment so others can learn about the ones I might have missed. That's it for this video. I'll see you next time.